The train hissed like it was angry at the world. Screeching metal. Heavy air. A child crying somewhere behind her. Maya stood still on the platform, clutching a worn-out suitcase with frayed edges and stickers half peeled, like the memories she kept trying to forget. Her knuckles were pale, tight around the handle. She wasn't sure if her hands were cold or if the tremble in them had been there for years. The red scarf around her neck fluttered slightly in the wind, the only color on her in a sea of gray coat, gray shoes, gray eyes. She hadn't worn the scarf in years. It had once belonged to someone else. Someone who smiled without guilt. Someone who didn't lie to children for a living. She stared at the train tracks, not blinking. Not moving. A woman with a stroller brushed past her, the wheels catching her coat, but she didn't flinch. I should have said something earlier, she thought. But there it was again, the lie she told herself, like she told them. The announcement echoed through the station, metallic and indifferent. Train 404, departing for Union in 5 minutes. She didn't look up. She only looked at them, 2 kids on the bench behind her, not more than 10 feet away. Emma's legs dangled, swinging, scuffed boots knocking together. Noah was hunched over his backpack, counting something invisible on his fingers. They didn't know yet. Not all of it. Maya's lips parted slightly, but no words came out. She pulled the scarf tighter instead, trying to gather herself. The silence between them was too full. Like a storm right before it hit. Emma looked up suddenly. "Aunt Maya, why do you look like you're going to cry?" Maya didn't answer. Her gaze drifted past them, to the rusted clock on the wall above their heads. It was cracked, the minute hand stuck just past the hour. Time had broken in this family long ago. "Because this is the moment that everything changes," she almost said. But instead, she swallowed hard and turned her head, blinking fast. One of the train doors hissed open behind her. Steam rose. A man stepped out in a black coat. She froze. He shouldn't have been there. Her pulse quickened. The kids didn't see him. Not yet. Maya took one slow step forward, suitcase dragging behind her. And just as the train's horn blared again, she whispered, "They deserve to know." But she didn't say who. Not yet. Not here. The scarf slipped from her shoulder as the wind picked up. The suitcase bumped against her ankle again, but Maya didn't adjust her grip. Let it drag. Let it bruise. It had done worse. The kids hadn't noticed the man in the black coat yet, still busy with their bubble of candy wrappers and whispered arguments over who got the window seat. She kept one eye on them, the other on him. But he hadn't moved. He just watched. Why now? Maya's fingers grazed the edge of the red scarf again, absently. It had been her mother's, before the silence, before the accidents, before the pretending. She remembered being 10, sitting on their apartment floor, watching her mother wrap it carefully before a court hearing. "Always look like you're okay," her mother had said with red nails and a forced smile. "Even when you're not." Maya hadn't realized until much later, that scarf wasn't for warmth. It was armor. She blinked as another train rolled in behind her, families spilling out, kids laughing, people running into hugs like the world wasn't breaking somewhere else. She watched a teenage girl drop her backpack just to leap into her father's arms. A boy with flowers kissed someone's cheek and called her home. Maya stood still. Alone. Holding too many things that didn't belong to her, memories, guilt, children. She'd spent the last 5 years being the unpaid aunt, the default guardian, the one who stayed because, "You're good with kids, and, just for now, Maya, please." She had watched their parents disappear in excuses and broken promises, rehabs, road trips, sudden silences. And she had smiled for Emma and Noah every night, tucking in lies like bedtime stories. "Your mom's working late. Your dad's in a better place. I gave up my 20s for their bedtime stories. The scarf fluttered again. She turned slightly, eyes brushing past the man. He didn't look away. No phone. No distraction. Just a sharp, heavy stillness. Like he was waiting for her to recognize him. And God, did she? But not yet. Not now. She walked back to the bench, slowly. Emma tugged her sleeve. Auntie, did you forget something? Maya knelt, smoothing the child's hair back with hands that no longer shook. No, she murmured. Just, remembering. The man shifted. Took a step forward. Maya stood. Her heart kicked harder. Her hand found the scarf again. She turned slightly, almost ready to speak. But then Noah looked up, eyes wide. Hey, who's that guy? Maya didn't answer. She stared. Her feet didn't move. The train doors opened again behind her, but this time, she didn't know whether to get on or run. The first drop of rain landed on the cracked platform tile with a soft pat. Then another. Within seconds, the sky opened up. Maya didn't flinch. She let the rain touch her face, cool and sharp, like truth cutting through years of silence. Emma squealed, covering her head with her arms. Noah tried to shield his backpack. People rushed for cover, umbrellas snapping open like secrets too long kept. But the man in the black coat didn't move. He stood beneath the edge of the canopy, half sheltered, half exposed. Rain soaked the shoulders of his coat, dripping down his collar. His shoes were worn, creased leather, soles thinning at the heel. Not the shoes of someone who'd just arrived, but of someone who'd walked too far, too long. Maya's gaze dropped to his hands, one holding a weathered wallet, opened like a quiet offering. Inside, behind cloudy plastic, she caught a glimpse of a photo. Her brother. Younger. Smiling. Next to a woman Maya didn't recognize. The man snapped it shut before she could ask. Her pulse stuttered. Why would he carry that? He stepped closer, but still kept distance. The space between them buzzed, heavy with everything unsaid. His eyes, gray-blue, stormy like the sky above, met hers. Familiar, but hardened. Did they ever tell you the whole story? His voice was low. Rough. Like it hadn't been used much. Maya stiffened. I know enough. Do you? She didn't answer. Because no, she didn't. She only had what was left behind, the kids, the silence, the responsibility no one else wanted. And the red scarf. That damn scarf. Lightning cracked in the far distance. The rain picked up, harder now, beating on the metal roof above them like a ticking clock. I didn't come to hurt you, he said, almost gently. But you are hurting me, she whispered. She looked at Emma and Noah huddled together under her coat. Their faces still soft. Still open. They didn't know the difference yet between love and damage. Between family and weight. Maya turned back to him. You look like someone who used to have a choice, she said, quietly. He blinked. Just once. So do you. The words hit like thunder. Not loud, but deep. Maya felt something shift in her chest, like a window creaking open after too many winters sealed shut. For one aching second, she saw herself in him, tired, loyal to ghosts, and too late to undo anything. The train doors hissed again, ready to close. A warning bell rang out. Emma tugged her hand. Auntie? Are we leaving now? Maya looked between the man and the train. Between history and escape. She stepped forward, then paused mid-step. Her scarf slipped from her shoulder again, landing in a puddle. She didn't pick it up. Ask ChatGPT. The train groaned, impatient, as if it too was tired of waiting on old wounds. Maya stepped forward, one hand tightly gripping Emma's wrist, the other still holding Noah's backpack strap. They were inches from the open door now. Safety. Motion. An ending. But her feet stalled. The scarf, her mother's scarf, still lay in the shallow puddle near the bench, soaked through, edges curling like dying leaves. She should have left it. It had served its time. So had she. And yet. She turned. Slowly. He was standing by it now. The man in the black coat. The ghost with a voice. He bent down, picked up the scarf with a gentleness that didn't match his silence, and held it in both hands like it was something sacred. His fingers trembled, not from cold. From remembering, maybe. Their eyes met across the storm-slicked platform. Some people carry more than just bags, Maya whispered, not knowing if she meant him, or herself, or both. They carry silence. And silence gets heavy. A woman passing by gave her a look, somewhere between pity and confusion. She whispered to her partner, "Poor girl. Looks like she's lost something." Maya heard it. Didn't correct her. She had lost something. But not just now. Not just a scarf. A man waiting by the schedule board stared openly. People notice things at train stations, tears, tremors, broken reunions. But no one offered help. Judgment, yes. A seat, maybe. But never help. The man in the black coat stepped forward. One small step. Then another. Rain traced the line of his jaw like apology. He held the scarf out. "I kept one," he said quietly. "After your brother died." Maya froze. The platform tilted beneath her, just slightly. "You knew him?" Her voice cracked on the word "knew." His throat bobbed as he swallowed. "He saved my life once." "That's the part they never told you, isn't it?" A breath caught in her chest. She couldn't tell if it was grief or rage or both. She took one step back toward him, but stopped herself. The train doors began to slide shut with a final hiss. Noah cried out, "Wait, Auntie," and Emma tugged her harder. But Maya didn't move. She was staring at the scarf. The man looked at her like he knew she wasn't leaving yet. Like he'd waited years for this almost. She reached out, just barely, and brushed the edge of the scarf. Not his hand. Just the fabric. Then she looked up and asked the question she'd buried for years. "How much of my life wasn't mine?" He didn't answer. He only held the scarf tighter. The scarf stayed in his hands, wet and limp, but no longer just a scarf. "You said he saved your life," Maya murmured, her voice steady now, almost distant. "So why did you disappear like the rest of them?" He didn't blink. Just slipped the scarf into a small leather satchel that looked too expensive for someone with soles worn thin. "I didn't disappear," he said quietly. "I rebuilt. That's what survivors do." A screech from the tracks made her jump. The train had left without them. Emma groaned. "Now we have to wait again?" Maya ignored her. Something in her was shifting. Rewinding. Like a locked drawer finally creaking open. She narrowed her eyes. "Why carry that scarf for years if you weren't planning on coming back?" The man didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper, creased, slightly damp. He handed it to her. Maya hesitated. Then opened it. It was a job offer. Her job offer. From a company she'd applied to just weeks ago. She recognized the logo instantly. She'd spent all night rehearsing answers for their interview, hopeful that finally something was going to turn around. The signature at the bottom made her stomach twist. CEO, D. Keene. Her breath hitched. You own Keene and Willard? He nodded once. I read every resume personally. Saw your name, Anne. I knew. Time had broken in this family long ago. Her brother's scarf. Her job application. This man. It was all a loop. Not fate, design. You didn't come for the kids, she said, voice raw. You came for me. His gaze flickered. I came for the truth. Same as you. Behind her, Emma hummed and Noah kicked a pebble. Time felt like it was folding in on itself. That scarf had been her mother's armor, then her own. Now, she wasn't sure whose it was. Maya remembered the words her mother once whispered while tying the scarf at her throat. Always look like you're okay, even when you're not. Maya wasn't okay. Not now. Maybe not ever again. And yet, she stepped past him, past the puddle, past the bench. The station attendant pointed toward a quiet hall marked private office, access restricted. The man didn't follow. But Maya walked straight toward the door. Her shoes echoed against the tile like clock hands ticking. She reached for the handle. No more running. No more surviving. The truth was waiting behind this door. And she was finally ready to walk into it. The private door clicked shut behind her. The hallway was quiet, lined with muted glass and framed photographs, faces she didn't recognize, frozen mid-laugh or mid-victory. Maya's heartbeat was a steady echo in her ears. Not panic. Not quite fear. More like the final page of a book you've dreaded finishing. At the far end, a small room glowed with warm light. Inside, a single desk, a coat rack, and the man from the platform. No black coat now, just a crisp gray shirt, sleeves rolled up, hands folded. He didn't rise when she entered. You came. I had to, Maya said, her voice low. I need to know why. He gestured to the chair across from him. She didn't sit. You remind me of her, he said quietly, eyes not on Maya but on the scarf now lying between them on the desk, clean, folded. Reverent. My daughter. She wore that same red scarf when she ran away. Maya's breath caught. She was only 17, he continued. Furious with the world. With me. And your brother, a pause. He found her, kept her safe. He didn't know who she was. Didn't care. Just saved her. The silence throbbed like an old bruise. He died thinking he failed, Maya whispered. He left his kids, his sister, his mess. I picked up everything. Everyone. The man nodded slowly. He didn't fail. He gave her back to me. Maya's knees buckled slightly. She sat. He slid the scarf forward, but didn't push it on her. It's not yours to carry anymore. Not his. Not mine either. Just a memory now. Tears welled, then fell. I didn't come for a job, she said. I came for permission to be angry. And maybe, relieved. You don't need my permission, he said. But I can offer something else. She looked up, startled. I was going to hire you, he said. But not for your skills. For what you reminded me of. Her strength. His sacrifice. A beat. But I won't anymore. You don't deserve to be chosen because of who you remind someone of. You deserve your own story. Something cracked in her, quietly, like ice breaking in a spring thaw. She stood. Reached for the scarf. Then paused. Instead of taking it, she folded it tighter and laid it gently beside the photograph on his desk. I think it belongs here, she whispered. Outside, thunder grumbled. But in her chest, something had gone quiet. She walked out without looking back, passing the same schedule board, the same judgmental eyes. But now she moved differently, lighter. Not because the weight was gone, but because she had decided to stop dragging it. On the platform, Emma looked up and smiled. "Are we going now?" Maya nodded. "Yeah. We're going forward." And as they walked to the next train, hand in hand, she thought, not every stranger you help is meant to stay, but some leave you changed forever. Weeks later, the rain had passed. Maya walked down a quiet street just before dusk, the kind where tree shadows stretched long and gentle over the pavement. Emma's hand no longer clung so tightly. Noah walked ahead now, taller somehow, as if truth had aged them both a little. They'd asked questions, some loud, some whispered through tears, and she'd answered with the honesty she could give, even when it hurt. The small apartment they returned to wasn't much, but it felt clean. Earned. The kind of space you breathe in without flinching. In her bedroom drawer, beneath folded shirts and old letters, the red scarf rested. Dry. Still soft. But untouched. She hadn't worn it since that day. Sometimes, when she brushed past the drawer, she'd pause and let her hand linger over it, not to pick it up, just to remember. Her brother's photo sat on the shelf now. Not idolized. Not erased. Just present. The version of him she chose to remember, not perfect, not broken, just trying. And the man from the station? She hadn't seen him again. No letters. No offers. No explanations. Only the echo of his voice remained. "You deserve your own story." Sometimes, late at night, she whispered it to herself like a vow. In the quiet, she'd come to understand something else, that some kinds of love never looked like fairy tales. That caregiving was not always chosen, but surviving it was. And that maybe the truest kind of affection is not about saving people, but recognizing the ones who already did. A friend once told her, sometimes love is not romance, it's recognition. She hadn't understood it then. Now, she did. One evening, as golden light spilled through the window, Maya sat alone with a cup of tea, watching a pair of sparrows hop along the railing outside. She didn't cry. She didn't smile either. Just watched. And somewhere in her chest, something bloomed, not joy, but stillness. Not closure, but acceptance. The kids were laughing in the next room. Their laughter no longer asked for permission. Maya placed the empty cup down and stood, brushing her hands over the edge of the windowsill. Outside, the wind stirred. And in her heart, she thought, not every storm is meant to break you. Some are just meant to show you who you've become after it passes. Healing isn't loud, she whispered. It's what you hear when everything else finally stops speaking. And then she stood there, in the hush of it all, not waiting, just being. Because sometimes the person you become is the answer you've been looking for all along.